Hey folks, this is BestInSlot. Welcome back to our Mods of the Week Spotlight series for Jurassic World Evolution 2. We're going to be taking a look at 7 different mods today, some of them a little bit older, some really cool ones from the past that I missed. There wasn't that much uploaded this week, although there was some very cool stuff uploaded this week anyway, which we'll see in just a second. You can see a preview of one of them in the middle of the screen. There's an update on the way, of course. At some point, like I keep saying this and it keeps not coming out. We don't know anything at this point in time, but you know, there's rumors, you know, we talked about like maybe August 9th we'll hear something with the live stream, who knows. So quick little disclaimer, as per usual, mods can, especially when there's a big update, possibly break your game. If they do break your game, it's not my fault, it's not the mod maker's fault, and it's not Frontier's fault. You should just do what I do. Every time there's a big update, I basically just wipe all my mods. Eventually, we'll build up like a list of all the best mods, and it'll be a lot more stable, but that's not going to happen until the game stops updating, and I don't think any of us want that to happen anytime soon. As Modius is here today, hello, and has a warning for you. I'm going to break your games. There you go, see? He's warned you, alright? So, if you have to blame anyone, blame yourselves and Osmodius. Right, let's get started. So, our first dinosaur today is a new species, and it's Amphisilus. So, in case you can't tell, this thing is let me skip. This thing is absolutely gigantic. By far the largest dinosaur in the game. This is Amphisilus fragilis, made by Master Duke. Before we talk about the dinosaur itself, I just want to say it looks fantastic. It's a beautiful looking sauropod, really interesting patterning. Love that little bit of a sail along the spine there. Sauropod looking feet for once. The sail kind of pops up a little bit here, has a bit more of a pattern there. And just generally speaking, it's a really nice looking dinosaur, as we expect these days from Master Duke, of course. But what is Amphisilus? Well, let's talk about it. And this is Fragilis, in particular, the species Fragilis. Amphisilus is a genus of sauropods from late Jurassic Colorado. Most of them are pretty moderate in length. You know, there's several species of Amphisilus, and they're like 60 feet long, something like that. Large enough, but, you know, not particularly staggering by any stretch. Puts them smaller than Diplodocus, which is what Amphisilus is related to as a genus. This lad, though, Amphisilus fragilis, or it was anyway, as we'll see, in 1878, after some other species of Amphisilus had already been discovered and named, Edward Cope named fragilis based on a single dorsal vertebra. And this vertebra is so huge, and if it's a diplodocid, it would make the eventual dinosaur 200 feet long. So assuming that they took the original measurements correctly, and it was a diplodocid as suspected, it would make approximately the final dinosaur about 200 feet long, which is, of course, madness. The longest dinosaur ever by quite a while. Unfortunately, that vertebra was lost pretty soon after. I don't know where the sound's gone, by the way. So there's been some debate for quite a long time about the validity of this species. You know, we don't have it was only based on a single vertebra, and we no longer have that single vertebra. Oh wait, is it doing it? This dinosaur's got some very cool things hidden. I think it's gone for a sit down. Not only is it humongous, really, considering the rigging must have been impossibly difficult. I'm really impressed. Like, it's a bit funky at times, but given the size, that's no surprise. Rhymes. So there's been a debate for a long time as to the validity of this dinosaur, with a lot of suggestions that they took the initial measurements wrong on the vertebra. Most recently, Kenneth Carpenter moved Fragilis into a new genus instead, Marapunisaurus, who you may have heard of, right? It's a dinosaur we've talked about before, and made it a Rebbachisauride rather than a diplodocid. With that in mind, they said even if the initial measurements on the vertebra were correct, it would put the size estimates for this dinosaur up to a maximum of, you're talking 130 feet or so. It's still humongous, don't get me wrong, but a far cry from the 200 feet it was once posited at. So the idea is that if it's not a diplodocid, it would be smaller, because diplodocids are well renowned, of course, for being exceptionally long. And that is the story of Amphisilus fragilis, which probably doesn't exist, if we're totally honest. However, before we move on, this mod does have, not only is it remarkable rigging and a really beautiful model and just a very cool dinosaur in general, it has a bit of a special feature in that it has a custom animation. This is something we've only seen once in a mod before on Evolution 2, and that was, of course, the Freddy Fazbear statue mod that we saw in the past. But this is the first time ever, as far as I'm aware, for Evo 2, we've seen a custom animation on a dinosaur in-game. It's really, really exciting stuff, and like the potential for modding, if we can have custom animations, is insane, obviously. So shout out to Master Duke for doing this. Now, what it is apparently a replacement to the preening animation for the Amphicoelius. Now, I believe, thanks to the power of Kyodenic's dinosaur control toolbox, we can probably force a preening. It should be that preening, right? So I should, in theory, be able to force the animation. Yeah, you see there's some problems. But yeah, there you go. Look at that! Oh, awesome. So yeah, there's some issues. You know, modding new animations is very, very new technology. It's burgeoning technology, but I mean, that is very, very cool. Is it just going to keep doing it? Now that I've clicked it, maybe. Being able to force it, being able to force it thanks to Cardenic's remarkable tools, but having this rearing back animation is awesome, and it's going to keep doing it because I've forced it to do it. So that's Amphicoelius, a big deal dinosaur, not just because of its size, but because a brand new custom animation never in the game before, which on a dinosaur this size in particular, I think just looks utterly remarkable. And if we head over here, you'll see there is a statue of an Ultimasaurus. So first of all, the Ultimasaurus statue is a new mod. I'm going to show you 3 mods here, basically, made by Viral Cyclopes, and then a bunch of other people across the 3 mods. They'll, of course, all be linked down below in the Google document that you can check out for yourselves. So here we have the 2 new mods. We have an Ultimasaurus statue, and this comes in tons of different variants. I'll show you those in a second, but also a signpost for the Ultimasaurus. So it's got the information about the Ultimasaurus. It's a hybrid, and you know what it's made of from a little bit, and just a general info sign. So you can build yourself. There's an Ultimasaurus. This mod we have showcased before. This is the new species Ultimasaurus mod. But you can now build proper little habitats, you know, with the sign of the statues outside, little signposts. And it feels much more like an actual zoo. If I can figure out how to do this, if I can... Maybe I can call up with someone to give me the actual sign, and then I can do the info. If this isn't too difficult to do, I would really, really love to have one of these. I know it would be a lot of work, but to have one of these for every dinosaur in the game. Because I think this kind of thing, like even more than the new species in the statue, I think having signposts, and there's one for Wheat's Tarbosaurus out there as well, I believe, I think it's a really big deal, like in terms of making things feel more like a functioning zoo and a functioning park, and, you know, much more realistic. I think that looks really good. The sign's a little bit dark and needs brightening up, I'd say, but... there's something about that just makes me really happy. I don't think I'm crazy, but maybe I am. But anyway, there you go. Ultimasaurus sign, statue, and dinosaur, all as separate mods. Right, moving on from that, I'll show you the Ultimasaurus, just in case you missed the Ultimasaurus last time. There it is. Comes with a bunch of different skins, but this is the classic Kenner toy line version. I've got no idea what's going on. I think the Amphicoelius maybe broke my sound. I'm just going to reload the game and see if I can fix that. It seems to have fixed it, potentially. Anyways, yeah, fantastic Ultimasaurus there. Made by a bunch of different people, to say the least. Right, next up, we're going to check out a termite mound, basically. There you go, termite mound. So this is pulled from Planet Zoo. It's a new decoration. It just adds termite mounds to your game. This is by Viral Cycle. Oh, sorry, one thing I completely forgot to show you very, very quickly. Of course, as I mentioned, there are other statues for the Ultimasaurus. So you've got... Just a ton of variety. You've got some of the different ones that are very similar to Scary Faces statues with the chrome and the rust. And then you've got ones for all the different skins that are part of the mod, stuff like that. There you go. You could, I don't know what you do with all these, but you've got the option, which is sweet. That's terrifying. So yeah, termite mound, also made by Viral Cyclopes. What I've done over here, as suggested on the mod page itself, is I've hidden a meat feeder underneath the termite mound decoration. The implication, of course, being that you can kind of pretend that they're insectivores rather than meat feeders, which is really cool. That's why I use Troodon. I figured a dinosaur that makes sense to every now and again eat from insect food. The problem is, of course, the termite mound is much larger than the meat feeder, so they kind of jump inside it a little bit. They're very eager, okay? They're very, very eager. What I was thinking is you could maybe, let me just try this out very quickly. I'll show you it in the decoration tab as well. There it is, down there. If I plop that down and grab it, can I maybe sink it? Yeah, you could kind of do something more like that. That might work. That would at least be a little closer, they'd sort of jump in it less. But the point is you could do something pretty cool. It's cool as a decoration anyway. It's the kind of thing I really like having, just along with like the feces we got from the last thing, just expanding that sort of decoration in our exhibits is obviously a big positive. Right, 2 mods left to check out, both of them brand new species. First up, we have Gojirasaurus. This is absolutely one I was meant to cover last week, and it just kind of slipped my mind. Very excited about this one. Here, I'm just gonna. You're very, very. I love you, but go over there. Okay, Gojirasaurus. Here we go. Okay, well that was awesome. I think that was the Scorpius Rex maybe. So, Gojirasaurus. Very, very cool. Let me just pause it there. You can get a good look at this. It's made by Hyper SG. Not sure where the YT went, but Hyper SG. Well, the first mod's in a little while. Really, really well modelled, as you can see. Really interesting pattern. I picked specifically the Isla Nublar pattern. There's a ton of different ones. This is like a set one, but then you've got your regular sort of mixed patterns and stuff like that. Really, really interesting patterns. Really sort of evocative spiking there. Sort of very aggressive in how it's formed. And I love this little dewlap thing we've got going on here. Gular pouch? Dewlap? Whatever you want to call it. Underneath the neck there. If I had to guess, I'd say dewlap. But yeah, very, very cool looking. So, Gojirasaurus, the Godzilla lizard, of course. A theropod from Triassic, New Mexico. Now, Gojira, at 20 feet long, this is not a small dinosaur. And, you know, I just mentioned Triassic, New Mexico. Well, you'll know most dinosaurs back in the Triassic were quite small. So at 20 feet long, this guy was one of the biggest theropods in the Triassic era. And may have grown even larger than that. The skeletons for Gojirasaurus, the found fossil, is immature. So, you know, there's potential for it to have grown even larger than this. Gojirasaurus, however, is unfortunately a little bbit dubious, isn't on the whole, with suggestions that its fossils came from other dinosaurs like Shuvosaurus and some of its others from other coelophysoids. That is Scorpius Rex. Gojirasaurus itself is a coelophysoid, so suggestion that maybe the bones came from other coelophysoids and not Gojirasaurus. The name is really cool though, so hopefully it sticks around. Like, for no other reason, the name being really cool, and for this fantastic looking, I mean, again, that texture and pattern work is pretty exceptional. It's a really interesting, evocative looking dinosaur. Very, very unique. It really looks great. Yeah, so hopefully Gojira sticks around, but we'll have to wait and see what happens in that regard. Right, final mod of the day is a Atrociraptor cosmetic. It's like a new body variant for the Atrociraptor. I sometimes forget how cool the exit animations for this game are. It's a really cool thing that they've put like attention to, rather than Jurassic World Evolution 1, which of course didn't really have it. Anyways, so this is of course Carnoraptor by Mitchell Productions and Feilong, that well-known hybrid appearing in many other Jurassic World properties, in Jurassic World the game, in Jurassic World Alive, in maybe Jurassic Park the game, I don't really remember, but either way in several others. Looking a little bumpy there, my friend. Very, very bumpy. Carnoraptor. Carno bits. Raptor bits. Adorable. Don't have much to add to that. It looks, you know, it's a well-made Carnoraptor. Interesting patterns. Interesting skins. Well modelled. Looks like a Carnoraptor. It looks like it's been pulled from Alive or from Jurassic World the game. It's about what you'd expect. How much you like this will just depend purely on how much you like the original design, I suppose. This one in particular, though, this skin feels a little bit more calm, a little bit more chill, and yeah, these are all, some of them are quite burnt. This one I think looks really, really good, actually. That's a decent looking dinosaur. It definitely looks like a weird hybrid, but it's subtle enough that I think you can kind of get away with it. I think it's the eyes for me. The eyes with that sort of milkiness to them makes it look a little bit more monstrous. But hey, sometimes you want something a little bit monstrous, and you know, it's obviously really well modelled and rigged and stuff like that. So shout out to Mitchell Productions and Feilong. Right, anyways, so Amphicilius Virgilius, Ultimasaurus dinosaur statue and sign, Termite Mound, Gojirasaurus, and Carnoraptor. A really, really cool suite of mods. And yeah, shout out to all the mod makers, Master Doot, Viral Cyclops, and a bunch of others who helped with Viral Cyclops on the Ultimasaurus stuff, Hyper SG, Mitchell Productions, and Feilong. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Like I say, you can download all of these for free because they're lovely people over at the Nexus. And again, I'll link all those in the comment section, in the description down below. There's a Google Doc. You just click on the Google Doc. It'll take you to every single Mods of the Week spotlight I've done for this game. Eventually, I'll build what I did for the first game, where we have like an ultimate mod list, and I'll split it between carnivores and hybrids and herbivores and aquatics and stuff like that. And we'll have all our new species, and that'll be the best stuff, and I'll have like a best mod list. All that kind of jazz will do, but only when the game stops updating, because otherwise things break and it gets annoying and yada yada yada. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that regard, but a really cool day. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed the video, please do throw me a like down below as well. You just keep seeing it pop up in the corner over there. Throw me a like down below, throw me a comment, throw me a subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I will see you lovely folks very, very soon. Thank you so much for joining me. Cheers much love as always. Bye-bye.
Reaching out.